Hey everyone, welcome to our way too early college football predictions video. So who we're going to be taking a look at today is the 2024 Tennessee Volunteers football team. We are going to be looking at their entire schedule, seeing which games we think they're going to win, which games we think they are going to lose. Now, go ahead, hit that like button and subscribe. We are going to be breaking down every single college football team's schedules, going over the wins, the losses for every single team, plus when the season starts. Every single week, we look at every game. We go over the money lines, the spreads, and the over-unders. And we also do the same thing for every single NFL game once the NFL season starts. Like I mentioned, hit that like button and subscribe. So the Tennessee Volunteers, obviously, they had a pretty good year last year. 2 years ago, they went 11-2. Last season, they went 9-4. So Tennessee has been pretty relevant for the last couple of years. They have Josh Heupel as the coach. He's obviously an offensively minded coach, one of the best offensive play callers in all of college football. So you know that Tennessee is going to bring it on offense. Last season, they kind of took a step back, but they had a lot of players go to the NFL. They averaged 32 points per game on offense, but their defense got noticeably better. They were only giving up 20 points per game on the defensive side of the ball. So they had a top 45 offense and a top 30 defense. This is a very competitive team. They have been recruiting well. They do have a top 15 overall rated college football roster as of right now. And the biggest key is Joe Milton's gone. Nico Iamaleava has stepped in as the starting quarterback. This is his first full season starting at the quarterback position. He did start the bowl game, looked really sharp, threw for 3 or 4 touchdowns against Iowa's defense. That's pretty tough. He did really well. He also can scramble, but like I said, he's a 5-star quarterback, the number 1 quarterback 2 classes ago, and he has Josh Heupel calling plays for him. A lot of people think that the main thing that held Tennessee back last season was Milton at the quarterback position. Quarterback is definitely not going to be an issue going forward for the next few years. They do have a really strong defense. They had a couple of their top defensive players go in the portal, some went to the draft, so they have to retool there. But Josh Heupel is going to find the playmakers on the offensive side to more than make up for that. But the SEC, tough schedule, and you're adding in now Texas and Oklahoma, so the conference got even more difficult. But let's go ahead and get things started looking at that 2024 schedule. So they start Saturday, August 31st versus the Chattanooga Mocs. Obviously, this game is going to be in Tennessee. It's the first game of the open season, home game. This is more of a warm-up game. Nico's only started one game. That was the bowl game. First full season starting. He needs a couple warm-up games to get hot. The offense is going to be rolling this season. They're probably going to average about, I'd say, 38, 39 points per game. They're going to be really good. They're going to have a top 25, top 30 offense. They need to get things warmed up, though, before they get into SEC conference play. They're going to beat Chattanooga. They're going to beat them pretty good. I could see this game being like a 52-10 type game, and they start out the year 1-0. And then Saturday, September 7th, you have a pretty tough out-of-conference game versus an opponent that's probably going to be ranked in the top 25, and that's the NC State Wolfpack. This game is going to be in Charlotte with NC State. That's kind of a tough game to pick. NC State, they always bring it. They always have a rough, physical run game. They have good lines on both sides of the ball. They're a well-coached team. They're usually led by their defense. They don't make mistakes. They run the ball. They play defense, they play special teams, and try not to have turnovers. They play the old style way of playing, and it's benefited them well. They've been a top 25 team for the last 5 to 8 seasons. They've been a very competitive team. If you don't bring your A game, they can actually surprise you, catch you off guard, and upset you. So Tennessee is going to be the favorite in this game. But if Nico's off, if he throws 2 picks, 3 picks, just has a bad day, they're going to lose this game. But as of right now, I have Tennessee continuing to bring their game, but their offense not performing as well because obviously this is their first challenge of the early season. I have Tennessee getting the win here, but in a lower scoring game, probably like a 30-21, 23 type game, and they're now 2-0. Then they follow that up versus Kent State Golden Flashes. This game is also going to be in Knoxville, Tennessee. This is another warm-up game. SEC schedule's coming close. Tennessee needs to get that offense back on track. Look for them to blow out Kent State in the lead up to the SEC Conference. They're going to win this game, I'm going to say a 44-13 game, and they're 3-0. Then Saturday, September 21st, a real true test. You have the Oklahoma Sooners in Norman, Oklahoma. Oklahoma, they have a top 10 roster as of right now. Do not underestimate them. They have Jackson Arnold at the quarterback position. Just like Nico, this is his first full season as the starter, but he's also a 5-star. So both these guys have a lot of praise coming into the season. There's really high expectations for both quarterbacks. Oklahoma, though, I think they have more returning. Even though they have a new quarterback, they have a run game that should be a lot better this season. They have a couple questions on the O-line, but Oklahoma, historically, for the last 10 or 15 years, has had really good O-lines. But their defense was god-awful in 2022. It got noticeably better in 2023. It's going to be even better this season. Brent Venables, he's been recruiting. He's been working the portal. Tennessee, very good roster, very talented roster. They have the weapons on offense. But I think Oklahoma's going to be the favorite here at home. Both these teams are probably going to be ranked pretty similarly, both in the top 15 as of this point, both probably undefeated. But I have Oklahoma getting the win here, and they'll probably be the favorite at home. I have them winning this game. It's probably going to be a pretty high-scoring game. I'm going to say like a 34-28, 34-30 game, a one-possession game. Oklahoma wins it, and Tennessee's 3-1 and loses their first game in conference. But they follow that up Saturday, September 28th with a bye week. They just lost their first conference game. They have to kind of lick their wounds and start working on some of those things that maybe weren't working the Oklahoma game, trying to get those fixed as they go further into the season. And then Saturday, October 12th, you have the Florida Gators. This game is also in Knoxville, Tennessee. For a really long time, Tennessee could not get Florida off their back. They were losing to Florida every single season. They finally got over that hump in 2022. And then they lost last year. That game was horrible. They were up big, completely coughed the game away. Could that potentially happen this game? Yes. This is a pretty big rivalry here. Florida hates Tennessee. Tennessee hates Florida. Anything can happen this game. Tennessee will be the favorite. But Florida has probably the most difficult college football schedule I've ever seen. So what Florida team shows up here? Have they taken a lot of losses? Are they rolling hot right now? That can obviously affect the outcome of this game because they could be riding high, they could be going low, and they know they're not even getting a bowl game, and they could have no heart to play for the rest of the season. You really don't know what's going to happen as of right now just because their schedule's so rough. But I do have Tennessee. They should be able to rebound from their loss last season. But do not sleep on the Florida Gators. Just because they won 5 games last year doesn't mean anything. They, just like Tennessee, are top 15 overall roster. If you sleep on them, they're going to catch you off guard. They're going to upset you. But I have Tennessee getting the win here in a higher scoring game. 34-30. They get the win, and they're now 4-1. And let's just take a step back. We actually skipped the Arkansas Razorbacks. That's my fault. How could we forget about Arkansas? Saturday, October 5th, you have the Arkansas Razorbacks. This game is in Fayetteville, Arkansas. With Sam Pittman, they really don't have anything going for them. They don't have a good offense. They don't have a good defense. They go through coordinators every 6 months. There's no stability. KJ Jefferson transferred out. They have a new quarterback coming in. They have new coordinators. Sam Pittman, he's on the hot seat. A lot of people thought he should have been fired last season. I have Arkansas being competitive the first half, making kind of a run of it first half, but then they're going to get out physicaled. And Tennessee just has way too much talent. I have Tennessee winning this game pretty comfortably, about a 37-24 game. And when you add in the Florida Gators, this is going to put them at what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1 at the midpoint. And then Saturday, October 19th, you have the Alabama Crimson Tide. Obviously, we all know this game is going to be a massive game here. Tennessee, they beat Alabama 2 years ago. That was an awesome game. That was a shootout. Lots changed since then. Nick Saban has now retired. Kalen Deboer is at the helm for the Crimson Tide. You have Milroe. He's still the quarterback there. He's going to be one of the Heisman favorites coming into this season. Obviously, Bama has a top 5 overall roster, top 3 roster. They had a lot of players transfer out, but they had just as many talented players transfer in. And obviously, they've been recruiting at the highest level. So don't sleep on Alabama's roster. It's just really how quickly can Milroe get acclimated to the system that Kalen Deboer wants to run? Kalen Deboer, he's going to be airing it out, running kind of a hybrid air raid offense, dinking, dunking, but he loves to throw bombs. Milroe, his strength is throwing the bomb. His weakness is the short intermittent pass, but he has a passing type coach, so they're obviously going to be working on that. If he can get some touch, this is still going to be a really dangerous Alabama team, and they're probably still going to be the favorite even right here. I have Alabama getting the win on the road in Knoxville, winning this game in a semi-low scoring game, but a close game, like a 27-24 or 30-27 game. So it could be decided by a missed field goal. It'll be a very close game, but I have Alabama pulling it off, and Tennessee drops to 5-2. After that, Saturday, November 2nd, we have the Kentucky Wildcats. So Tennessee catches a break here playing Kentucky second half of the season. Kentucky always starts out really hot. They go 5-0, 6-0. Then they completely nosedive and fall off. But they've been working the portal. One thing about Stoops, he's going to have a very physical team. Very physical offensive and defensive line. A really good run game. Obviously, they had a really good run game last season. But they're going to have a really good defense. They're going to have a stacked defense. They're going to play really competitively the first half. If you beat them, you need to control the second half because Kentucky's going to punch you in the mouth. So you have to be able to take that blow first half and be able to outlast them second half. Run the ball on them, throw the ball on them, outscore them second half. Kentucky is more than capable of beating Tennessee here. A lot of people are thinking that their offense is going to be much improved over the last years. But I have Tennessee getting things back on track, getting back in the win column here. I have Tennessee beating the Kentucky Wildcats. Probably about a 33-20 game, and they're now 6-1. And then Saturday, November 9th, you have the Mississippi State Bulldogs. This game is in Knoxville. This isn't Mike Leach's Mississippi State team. The coach is now Jeff Lebby, who's completely overhauling the whole roster, working the portal, bringing quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers. He's obviously an offensively focused coach, but this talent is completely empty on this roster. He has to completely rebuild it from the roster up. It's going to take some time. They in no way have the talent that Tennessee has. There's a massive gap here. If they lose to Mississippi State, people are going to be pissed off. Now, maybe Mississippi State in 2 or 3 years, but not as of right now. The gap is too far for these two teams. I have Tennessee getting another win here at home, winning this game 40-20, and they're 7-1. Then Saturday, November 16th, you are at the Georgia Bulldogs. You are in Athens playing Kirby Smart squad. This team is obviously stacked. Carson Beck, who's probably the Heisman frontrunner coming into this season. A lot of people have him going at the top of the first round at the quarterback position. They're going to have wide receivers. They're going to have running backs. They're going to have a top 5 college football defense. Obviously, Georgia's been recruiting at the highest level and also working the portal at the highest level. This is a top 3 roster, the best top to bottom roster, number 1 in all of college football. It's going to be really hard to beat them. They can beat you on offense, they can beat you on defense, they can beat you on special teams. So if any one of those 3 phases shows up, they're probably going to win the game. You have to play at your absolute best, 0 mistakes to even have a shot at them. I just don't think Tennessee's at that point. But I think Tennessee can definitely beat them. They are capable. They have a star at quarterback. So whenever you have that, you have a chance. But I have Georgia winning at home here, winning the game semi-comfortably, probably about a 33-20 game, and Tennessee's now 7-3. They follow that loss off Saturday, November 23rd versus the UTEP Miners. UTEP's not a bad squad, but Tennessee needs to get things back on track. They have 3 losses. All 3 losses were in conference. They need to get things back going into bowl season. I have them putting a beat down on UTEP, making up for those losses, trying to pad that record. I have them winning this game 42-17, and they're now 8-1. Final game of the regular season, Saturday, November 30th, at the Vanderbilt Commodores. This game's going to be in Nashville. Vanderbilt, there's really not much to say there. They don't have a good offense. They don't have a good defense. They don't have a good special teams. They're still working on their stadium. Stadium will be open, but it'll be completely busted up. Half of it will probably be closed down, but there probably won't be very many people there anyways. It's not a knock on Vanderbilt. It's a very hard school to build a football program, especially when you're in the SEC conference playing the best talent. I have Tennessee wanting to finish on an extremely high note, get to 9 wins with a shot at a 10th win in the bowl game. Look for Tennessee to put a beat down on Vanderbilt. I have them winning 45-20 this game, finishing the regular season 9-3. A lot of people might scoff at that. That's actually not bad. Now, they are able to avoid a lot of the top teams in the SEC. They don't play Ole Miss. They don't play LSU. They don't play Texas. Great. They don't play them, so they still get to 9 wins. Probably not good enough to get you in the SEC championship. There's too many talented teams in the conference this season. But it sets you up for a really good bowl game where you can get to 10 wins. And obviously that's an improvement on last season when you won 9 games counting the bowl game. So I have Tennessee finishing the regular season 9-3. That's taking a big step forward. 10 wins potentially this season with the bowl game. Then you're looking at next year, maybe next year's an 11-win season. Anything's possible with 5-star Nico at the helm. So that's my breakdown for Tennessee. Go ahead, hit that like button and subscribe. If you have any comments, if you agree, disagree, drop them below and I'll make sure to respond. Thanks.